Alright everybody, so welcome to another episode of Would I Buy? And as the cool kids would say, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, but don't smash your computer. And we're looking at Harvestella? Which looks to be a new sort of cross type game from Square Enix. And when I was looking into it, looking very briefly at the pictures, I kind of just thinking, okay, is it just like a glorified Farmville? I don't know. And when I say, oh my god, Farmville, I don't really remember that. It was like on Facebook, it was a big thing. It was like all the people that played it kind of got into it and was like all spamming the friends and stuff like that or something. I never know. I never really played it. But yeah, I kind of just get the feeling that this was just like a very much like Square Enix version of a farm simulator, like obviously Harvest Moon, Animal Crossing. It seems to be becoming a bit of a trend lately, these type of farming games. Ever since Minecraft sort of came into it, it's kind of like, I don't know why I thought of Minecraft. Why am I linking this to Minecraft? No, this is not like Minecraft. But yeah, so when I downloaded it, I kind of was just expecting a very generic farm type simulator with a bit of some random stuff here and there. And then when I started playing it, I'm a little bit confused. I couldn't tell if it was trying to be a farm simulator with an RPG, sort of RPG element, or if it's more RPG with some farm simulator elements. And I think, being honest, I think it's the latter, because the entire time I was playing it, you know, it does have like a story mode. So straight away, yes, there is a lot of story that I was getting into it, and you were sort of introduced to sort of the farm-like mechanics, but at the same time it wanted you to sort of follow this story on a day-to-day basis. So the farm type part seems to be very basic, at least in this demo. I can presume it might get a little bit more in-depth as time goes on, but from what I've played in that demo, it was very much basic. You create your patch of land, you get seeds, you buy, what should I say, you water your plants, you pick up your plants, you put them in the box, you get your money for it. Very much your standard type farm-like affair. And then you go buy some more seeds, and then you rinse and repeat on that. What sets this one obviously apart, obviously, is more of an actual RPG story to go around it. And this kind of makes me wonder now, like, I don't think it actually is just like a farm. I think it is supposed to be more of an RPG. And I don't know if it's a little bit misleading, that title. Because the entire time I felt more, it was just more RPG. I have said RPG a lot, I am so sorry. So yeah, it seems to revolve around, like, or at least in the demo part, where you gotta, I mean, the story, it doesn't seem to be like anything overly special. It's your standard type situation where, oh, you found, there's some creatures, I suppose you could just call them like aliens or stuff like that, where they don't get on, they seemed as evil, and then all of a sudden one turns up on your doorstep, and they're actually more like us than you think. It seems to be that typical standard. I've seen it in other stories, and obviously you actually sort of realise, oh, maybe they're not all that bad. I mean, it seems fine. It seems like I could get into it. The characters seem okay. What I did find a bit weird, and I don't know if it had glitched out on me or if I'd missed something when I was doing it, but there was a character creation at the beginning. You chose a male and a female. Now, I actually think I chose a male, and I just kind of went through it all, not thinking too much into it. I think I just clicked without actually thinking. I'm sure I clicked male. I'm pretty sure the body that showed up was a female. I'm playing as a woman with a male voice. I can only presume it's one of those first times where I actually think, is this just because it's a demo? I think I'm going to have to look through all that again and try that again. Beyond that though, the game itself, you know what, I did have a lot of fun with it actually. I mean, it was kind of interesting to think that I could buy equipment and like new weapons to go out battling the monsters using money that I earned from planting seeds. I can't say that I've done that often. I made a farm, I planted some seeds, I sold some crops, and I bought a sword. Okay, I didn't actually buy a sword, but the point is, I think that's essentially what it's like in here. It's that kind of RPG. It's a mixture of both, and I don't know of many RPGs where it has incorporated both of that. Now, I can't obviously vouch for how big this farm could grow. I mean, the area that you were in, it was like your home base, and it didn't seem to be all that huge, but I'm guessing there might be a lot more to it, because otherwise I really don't understand why they've called it Harvestella. That being said, still, the story itself and the RPG side of it, I kind of enjoyed. Now obviously in the demo it says that you could beat chapter 2 or it finishes in like 15 days, because obviously as you play through the day, you know, you've got your tasks that you can just do, and there isn't really that much that you can do in terms of the farm like in that demo period. So I kind of just focused on the story, and then the more I kind of got to it, I realised, okay, let's just say when you're playing the RPG side of it, and you're out in the world, you're battling, similar to every other type of RPG, and then you die, that day then comes to a close. So I suddenly kind of felt the pressure of those 15 days, to be honest. Because if you died, that was it. That was the end of that day. So I can kind of see that there is a little bit of a penalty. So rather than just being able to simply reload, although I think you can save and reload, it's nice to actually kind of feel as if there's a bit of a penalty, because obviously when you awaken the next day, you are essentially rescued and then you pay a fee. So there's a fee for obviously dying. Of course, as you make your way through the what I'll call dungeons, it looks as if you create shortcuts as well. So naturally you wanted to try and save as much time in that day as possible, and as you work your way through, you can build shortcuts up and then maybe call it a day and go back to it the next day and venture further. And I kind of like that aspect of it. One thing that I've always liked when it comes to, well, RPGs like that, I think as weird it sounds, the only thing that came to mind then was like the Souls games. Somehow I'm comparing this Square Enix games to a Souls game, but I kind of liked the aspect of creating shortcuts and going back. Especially when you are in a situation Lost in Blue, yeah, where you are essentially progressing further forward. You're trying to manage your time best you can, and you want to try and make as much progress as you can. And I kind of like the whole aspect of, you know, covering and getting further in via the use of shortcuts. Of course, I think if I were to focus on it. I'll be honest, I think I was getting close to the 15 days. I reached a couple of bosses, and the boss that I got to, I kind of died on, and I've got a couple of days left, so I'm kind of thinking either that chapter ends after that part, or I'm gonna run out of days. So although I haven't 100% even finished the demo, but I will say that I was having fun and I feel motivated to do it. It's just a shame now that I'm getting close to the edge of my days, because unfortunately I made a few silly mistakes and I wasted a bit of time, and as a result my day was kind of scuppered. But I think I'd get a bit of a pleasure from kind of saying, right, well today I feel like just doing a few crops and focusing on the farm side, whereas the next day I perhaps might want to go out and do a day of grinding and, you know, battling some enemies. And it's kind of nice. It's kind of a nice mixture of that, even though I sucked at that boss. In terms of the actual messing up and sort of like wasting the day, that's the only thing so far that kind of frustrated me a bit. Say for example, obviously you only get so many slots. Obviously when you're out, you get so many slots. And because I was far into one of the dungeons, unfortunately I had forgotten to put some of my stuff back in the storage box, and then it kind of like, it involved repairing a bridge, and I picked up I tried to pick up a repair kit, and because I didn't have any space, it just sent it back to my storage box at home. Okay, fine, it's good that it did that, but then when I had to return home, I got rid of some stuff, I think I died or something like that, and then I forgot to pick up the repair kit, so I went out again, wasted half my day getting back to that spot, realised I forgot my repair kit, so I had to run away all the way back to a quick save, well, not quick save, a quick travel, and had to return home, and I felt like half the day had been wasted, and that really annoyed me. Now obviously, that's probably more annoyed me more because I was against a 15-day time limit of the demo, whereas I have the feeling you get a little bit more freedom in the main game. But I presume that if they've put so much emphasis into this shortcut business and they've made so much effort into the time limit, into the shortcut business, I would take a wild guess that some of those dungeons are going to get pretty lengthy, because obviously if you're out for longer and it gets to the end of the day, like say, let's just say you stop up until midnight, I don't know, I'm just saying midnight because I can't remember the exact time, you pass out, obviously, so if you're out in the field for too long, you pass out and you end up being sent back as if you've died, and then you still have to pay a doctor's fee even though you only fell asleep. That's kind of frustrating, but at the same time it kind of puts that little pressure, I suppose you could say, on making progress, you know, and I think that's why I kind of enjoyed it. It's a bit of a thrill, because you kind of want to make your way through that dungeon as quickly as you can to get to the next checkpoint or next shortcut, and you just gain that little bit of progress in each dungeon as time goes on. And I think this is the aspect of it that I think I'd really start to enjoy. So even though I suck at the demo, and I can presume there might be a bit of a grind, but at the same time there's something about it that I kind of like. I mean, the music and everything has sucked me in. As I say, that gameplay and the RPG aspect of it and that time management of it kind of intrigues me. And I think this is why it's kind of like I want to keep on playing, and I'm kind of wishing that I had a bit more time than those 15 days.
The monsters look unsettled.
Got past
Could it
it
be
and
the
get a
effects
little
of
bit
the
more.
sea's light?
I suppose if I were to look at it from that aspect, that I kind of want to keep on playing it. I mean, obviously this is obviously a £50 game, but at the same time, if it came to me wanting to buy it, I can actually see myself wanting to invest in this, because I probably would actually gain a bit of a thrill out of it and invest some of my time into it, because if I weren't too worried about the story part, it'd be kind of interesting to just focus a little bit on maybe the farming. And although the farming didn't seem all that brilliant, oh, my phone's going. Even though that part didn't seem all that brilliant, I mean, it was very much basic, as I say, crop, plant, rinse and repeat, but it's kind of makes a nice change. I suppose you could say it makes a change in sort of the atmosphere and the tone, because as you say, when I went out into this world, it gives me normal like letters, kind of like how you would in Animal Crossing. You get letters, but it's like had news reports of what's going on in the world in terms of the RPG. Say, like, obviously something was reported, this was seen, big giant crystal explosion or something like that in the news, and it was essentially like I went into it thinking it was just a farming simulator, and then all of a sudden all this RPG element and type story jumps into it, and I think it kind of made it a little bit more exciting to me. So I do actually think this is something that I'd probably enjoy and invest some time into it. So I think if you were into RPGs, I would say definitely give the demo a try to see if you like it. If you are only into the farming aspect, give it a try. I would say try the demo, because I didn't really see too much, or at least I didn't focus too much on the farming, and it didn't seem like you could get much of a focus at that point. I'm not saying that it's not worth it, because obviously I can't say, but from the demo I didn't get much of that experience. But I would be curious actually to hear your thoughts. I mean, this is obviously all just my opinion. I mean, are you a farming simulator fan? And did you enjoy this game if you as a farming simulator fan? Or are you an RPG fan, and you know, did it add to your RPG experience? Did you not like it at all? You know, let us know. And as always, I will see you guys on the next one. Laters.
You have my gratitude. Escape successful. Looks like we lost them. Let the battle commence. You have my gratitude. If you choose to be a hindrance, then you will be removed. At this rate, your chances of survival are looking precarious. I suggest performing a break, wasting your time. There, the enemy is weakened. If we're going to combine firepower, now's the time to do it. You're wasting your time. You're a match for me. Take this. You think you're a match for me?